Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where last episode we got our space station component delivered and hooked up, and we did a fair amount of work on the station as well. Things should now be in a significantly better position, and we're on our way back. We've got our periapsis down to 80 kilometers, and at this point I just want to circularize that. We'll try to determine where we're going to land a little bit, but I'm not going to be too concerned about it, mostly for the sake of time. It could be fairly extensive to try to pinpoint our landing, and we're just not too interested in that right now. This thing is safe to land in water and on land, so it doesn't really matter all that much. We're able to do both, so that's completely fine. We're going to position for this burn, and once we arrive there, we're just going to warp on over. Phenomenal. So we've got about 5 minutes left on this warp, and we're just going to circularize this down. We want to enter the atmosphere with as little altitude as possible in our apoapsis, so that'll be absolutely fine. We've got about 50 seconds, 40, 30, 20, 10, and burn is in 3, 2, 1, 0 mark. Phenomenal. So down will come on our apoapsis. And we're just looking to roughly circularize this. We just want to make sure that we're above the atmosphere, and then we'll just look to bring this down. Actually, we could just bring this down to 70 kilometers, or even lower, to like 40 kilometers, without even looking at where we're going to go, since we do know that this is actually not a problem. Let's just lock to retrograde. Let's bring this down to 40 kilometers. We know it's not a problem where we're going to land. So let's just bring this thing on in and not be too concerned about it. After all, we need to get parts up to the ISS, right? So that's going to be a whole thing. So let's get into position here. We're going to warp around here. It's going to take us a little bit to fall down the 10 kilometers into the atmosphere. And once we do, I want to be at horizontal velocity up, basically immediately. And we're going to rotate ourselves over so that we are facing this direction, tail up from the ground. Cool. So something about like that. Phenomenal. While we're on our way in, I'm going to hop over and take a quick look here at what our next module to be brought up is. It looks like the next one is actually the Destiny Laboratory. Actually, there's a lot of space shuttle deliveries in a row. So let's take a quick look here. Yeah, so we've already done the Z1 truss and the P6 truss. Destiny, the laboratory module, is the next thing to send up, and that's definitely going to be relatively easy enough. That goes on the space shuttle, then ESP-1 on the shuttle, the Canadarm on the shuttle, and then the Quest joint airlock on the shuttle, and then the Piers docking component on the Soyuz U. Now, this is a gray, which I believe means it's been decommissioned. Yes, decommissioned and deorbited modules are shown in gray. So this has been since decommissioned. Are we going to skip it? No, probably not. Because that's the first Soyuz mission here for a while. And then look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 more space shuttle flights. And then a Soyuz flight. That's a lot. Okay. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 additional space shuttle flights. And then we start hitting Falcon 9s. And then a Proton launch. A couple of Soyuzes. But man, I didn't realize that it was that heavily built by the shuttle. Interesting. That's definitely something that I have learned here. There is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 launches with a Russian rocket. That's fascinating. Now, to be clear, that doesn't include like the crew arriving at the ISS, like crew transport flights. There were a lot more Russian flights with that. This is purely the assembly flights. So this is the assembly sequence here. That's very interesting. I didn't know that. Good to know. So we're going to be seeing a lot more of this. Excellent. Let's just warp on through here. We should be on 4x time warp here, and I'll keep an eye on it on my other monitor here while taking a look at the Destiny laboratory here. So the Destiny laboratory looks really simple. It's pretty much just the lab facility, which we can put on there easily enough. In terms of where it actually goes, the Destiny lab goes... There it is. Onto the ESP-1. Interesting. I'll have to figure out where exactly this goes. It looks like we're entering the atmosphere here. Oh, and I have forgotten to ditch our fuel, so we should definitely do that. We don't want to have our fuel here. We're going to ditch that. It's out of here. Phenomenal. And downward we go. So we are, of course, losing a lot of speed. This thing has a crazy amount of drag to it, which is, by design, that is the goal. And we're currently about at the periapsis. We're still going about orbital speed here, though. So we need to get a fair amount of slowdown going. We're currently just in full-on glide mode. We're not trying to increase our drag in any direction. We're just gliding and getting distance at this moment. And that's completely okay. All we're looking to do is maintain our altitude as long as possible while letting our speed drop down to more maneuverable levels. We can't really do too much at these speeds. Okay. Noted. We could try to head off over this direction. Like I said, we can't really do too much at these speeds. We would have to wait for speed to drop a little bit, although it has dropped quite a lot. So we could definitely hop over into Kilrot, pitch our nose down a little bit, and then roll ourselves. Ooh, that is not me doing that. Okay. We're going a little too fast for these maneuvers yet. Okay, there we go. Now that we've slowed down a bit, things are much more under control. But now we're just going to attempt to nose up a little bit. Ooh, that's a lot of nose up. Okay, we were still going a little bit too fast there. We are nosing up very heavily right now. I'm attempting to nose us back down to the horizon. Okay, so now we're roughly going this direction. We're going to need to nose down and get some speed going here if we want to make it over to that land, which would be ideal. Can we stop with the rocking, please? Thank you. Yeah, about like that. So we're going to nose down and get ourselves a dive going here. We're looking to increase our horizontal speed. We lost a lot of speed from those maneuvers there. I need to figure out exactly when it is safe to begin maneuvers, and it feels like it's like 300, maybe 400 meters per second. I tried it at like 700, 800 there, and that clearly didn't go all that well. So we're just diving right now, getting ourselves a little bit of additional speed here and dropping our altitude. But we really probably should consider nosing up here and just trying to glide this direction as far as we can. I'm not sure we make it to the land, though. Our speed is quite low. It doesn't matter either way. Let's physics warp for the time being, and we're just going to attempt to glide a bit here. I'm noticing our horizontal speed steadily decreasing, which is reasonably expected as we are converting that currently over to vertical speed. We can see that that's holding fairly firm, although now it's starting to go down, which is expected. So yeah, we're not going to make it over to this land. We should just try to nose down here and just ditch in the water. I'm going to open the gear action group, although there's really no reason to. I feel like this actually endangers our landing gear more. With a water landing, I'm going to unengage that. On land, we would definitely want to have that engaged, but not so much on water. So we're diving down right now, and we're going to look to nose up. There we go, and just go to horizontal velocity up for now. There we go. We do have some horizontal speed right now that we got from that dive, but it's not enough to make it to the land, and that's okay. I'm just going to continue to maneuver us a little bit. We're okay with ditching in the water, so I'm just going to position like this. We, of course, don't want to hit the water in this attitude. No doubt about that. At about 500 meters, I'm going to pull up. So about now, we're pulling up. There we go. And I want our nose to be just ever so slightly up right now. I want to be parked about like this for the landing. Excellent. I want to be in surface mode here. And we can see we are currently bleeding off horizontal speed. Chutes are out. And there we go. Splashdown in the sea. We don't lose any parts. I like it. So that's absolutely great. We will recover this vessel, and of course we're going to need to get our payment for this. And then we're going to have to make our next module here, which is the Destiny Laboratory. So that is absolutely fine. If we look at our diagram here, the Destiny Lab is this guy right here. So that connects into the ESP1, which is itself connected into the S1 truss segment. Okay. That's interesting. I'm not sure how this is named in comparison to this concept, right? So do we have the Destiny module set up in that reference? Unfortunately, no, we do not. We can see what the module looks like right here. But that's about what we've got. So this connects, let's see. Destiny was grabbed by the robotic arm at 11:23 out of the cargo bay and berthed to the forward port of Unity. Okay. 2 days later, the PMA-2 was moved to its semi-permanent location on the forward hatch of Destiny. Okay, so this is actually berthed to Unity. So if we look at this guy here, I think that what it has labeled as... Okay, right. That is Unity there. I was misreading this. Gotcha. So this goes into the Unity hatch that is pointed away from the main line of the station. Gotcha. So we do need to have a little bit of work done here. We're going to get all of that recovered. We need to get our payment for that mission. Phenomenal. And now we need to get ourselves our Destiny module. But first I want to go double check our docking port situation on the ISS. So let's hop over to the ISS here real quick. And once this loads in on the Unity module, we need to take a look at the forward port, which should be a small port, I believe. So the Unity module is this guy right here. Okay. So that's definitely interesting. I didn't realize that this tank was still empty. It shouldn't be. We want to pull the fuel from here. So that'll be half of this fuel. This, of course, is not supposed to remain attached. So the forward port of Unity, this would be the backward port. The forward port of Unity would be where the PMA is currently, I believe. Let's get this moved over here. We can see that these are definitely docking port juniors, and this is probably going to need to be moved. So that's noted. So with that in mind, where does PMA-2 get moved to? So that is currently PMA-2 that is there right now. It gets temporarily stowed on the forward berthing ring of the Z1 truss. And then it was moved to its semi-permanent location on the forward hatch of Destiny. Okay, so what happens here is this gets placed here temporarily. Destiny goes right here, and then this gets put on the far side of Destiny. Gotcha. That makes sense. That does make sense. Is that how I would go about deploying this? Probably not, but we're going to have to do this with the robotic arm, and that's going to make things mildly awkward, but we can use strutting. That should be reasonably okay. We'll just have to make sure that the robotic arm is strutted in when we're doing our actual maneuvering, right? So that should be reasonably fine, all things considered. So let's get this loaded in, and it looks like this module is going to be really, really basic. So we're going to hop into the VAB here. We're going to grab our shuttle, and we're going to build out this module really quickly. I don't expect this to be a complicated one. It looks really basic. So if we head on down to, not the shuttle beta version, I'm just going to grab like the Z1 Trust module. We know that this is the most modern version of the shuttle, and we're going to open this on up. We do not need the engine plate here. So we're going to get rid of that. That's phenomenal. Now, we know that we're going to need a docking port on each end, so let's use our docking port junior, since that's what we're using to represent the American-style docking ports here. So we're going to use a docking port junior. That's going to go right here. And I'm going to rotate this guy to be 90 degrees to be easier to work on. Now, this should get delivered via the robotic arm, which is a doable thing in theory, but we would have to figure out how we wanted to do it. We would need the robotic arm to be able to grab it, right? And it currently can't grab something that is attached to the same craft as it. And undocking might be a little too much. I don't know. We might have to do like a little bit of save work there, because it could get awkward. We'll see. It should be able to grab onto the same craft, but for technical, like, Kerbal computer reasons, that can't happen. So we'll have to see how we end up doing that. This actually needs to be turned the other direction, so it needs to be physically docked like this. Then we're going to need a science laboratory here. So a mobile processing lab goes in like that. Then on the other side, we're just going to put another docking port here. And I think that's the entirety of this mission. I want to double check that real quick. So we're looking here at the reference image, right? So this is the newly expanded ISS with the laboratory. Okay, so we're looking at, that's the trust there. So this is what we put up last episode, is this guy here. The laboratory appears to be in line with the main line here. But that is definitely not what we see in this configuration. Or indeed, what we end up seeing in our model of it. So that's interesting. We might be looking at it here, though. No, it should be... Hang on. I need to think about this for a moment. This is on the opposite side of where the Unity module is. Well, going by this here, it goes perpendicular to the main line of the station. In theory. The P6 truss segment we've put up, that's off over this way. And then, of course, we're going to have some additional segments that get put in over here. That's going to be a whole thing. But that's fine for now. But the Destiny Lab goes here, right into the Unity node, which the Unity node is connected. Is this indicating that it's inline? This might actually be pointing to this docking port. I'm not sure. This is the S1 truss segment. Have we put up the S1 truss segment yet? It might just be a non-final setup. Let's take a quick look at the S1 truss setup. Where is that? Yeah, the S1 comes in later, significantly later. So we're going to have to take that apart and put them back together with another bit in the middle. That's awkward. But that is what the Canadarm will be useful for, so sure. Yeah, the Canadarm will actually make that a lot easier once we get that up there. So that'll be okay. I think for the moment, that just means that we put it in exactly where we think we put it in. I wish that we had this reference here for the Destiny module. This is a very convenient one. This really, really shows us what we've got going on here with the station, right? So that's absolutely great. I love these. Unfortunately, there doesn't appear to be one of them for the Destiny laboratory, which is very sad. No doubt about it. But looking at the lab itself, it looks like there is maybe like a... There's maybe an adapter to adapt the size down. So we could definitely do a small adapter here. So that would be this guy. And then I think this one's too small. Yeah, that one's too small. So then it would be this guy. And then this guy. And then the docking port. And then I would want these to be... We could make them just be dark. Or just white, like this. That's kind of interesting looking right there. I like that. So I'm going to duplicate that. We're going to take this out of here. We're going to put this guy in over here. We need to flip it around. And for now, we can flip it around over here. Because we want to have the same thing going the other direction, right? So it'll be something kind of like this. Then we need to grab, not the adapter. I think we're going to have to clip in here. If we can. It's awkwardly located. Okay, we'll have to do it this way. So we take the adapter off. Park that here for now. We grab the... Where are you? Wow, we're having a really hard time getting that hitbox. Okay, that's exciting stuff. If we clip up over here like this... There we go. Got it. Got there in the end. I like it. So we're going to position something like this. And slap that guy on here. If it'll go... It is not going to go. Okay, that's exciting. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Now we grab this, and we put it on like that. And there we go. That's our entire module. We don't need to include any, like, struts or anything. We've already got struts up there. But I am going to include a few struts, because we know we're going to need some. So we'll include some of these. This is more of a, like, resupply sort of thing. So, the idea behind this is... We deploy it like this, we position the arm here to be able to grab it, then we release this and hope it doesn't explode out. We'll give some, like, allowance for saving for that, because physics is weird in this game, and not how it would work in reality. In reality, of course, we wouldn't be able to deploy this more than about here, but, I mean, in reality, this thing doesn't fit in here, right? But... I mean, it's Kerbal. We can do this. So, this is completely fine. We're just going to strut this in with a single strut like that to make sure it's going nowhere. And beyond that, I think we're ready to launch this. So this is the Destiny Lab. Phenomenal. We'll save, and let's hit the launch button. We are out of here. We're also kind of out of time. But we'll get this thing into at least a parking orbit for now. So that'll be okay. And then we can do our actual rendezvous at the station and all that next episode. That is absolutely fine. Let's get this thing launched. How are we doing on lining up our orbits? The answer is probably not well. It's not terrible. We're going to be going southward this time. Okay, so this is not going to be going... Hang on, I need to orient myself here. It's not going to be going this way. It's going to be going this way. That's exciting. Okay, we'll set this guy as our target. And let's just warp on forward a little bit here. Cool. It's decent timing, all things considered. We'll go to surface up, and let's launch this. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm rarely perfect on these. So let's just launch this, and we're going to make our way basically directly up, but then we're going to start burning towards target once the target approaches us here. So we're going to go up, because we need to get a lot of area covered here, right? So that's definitely a thing that we need. We need to get a lot of vertical area covered. And we're going to start heading towards the target as soon as we can. Really, we need to be pulling, like, the orbital prograde onto the target. Indeed. We're going to move into orbital mode here. And we just need to get a bunch of verticality for right now. Verticality is the current goal. And then I think we just burn towards target once the target is reasonably close to straight up. So we just get a bunch of vertical speed here, clear the atmosphere as reasonably quickly as possible, and then burn towards target. I think that's our plan here. So we have a lot of vertical speed right now. And of course, we can see the target velocity needs to be changed a little bit. I'm just putting us over into target mode right now. Unfortunately, we are still carrying the SRBs here, and we will be for a while. We're just going to continue to burn towards target here. And the ascending-descending node is going to be kind of wacky, I think. It's currently going absolutely crazy, but that's to be expected. So we're heading off towards target, and we kind of need to be overshooting the target here. So I'm going to switch to kill rot and bring us up, and oh, we don't like to move here. Okay. Noted. Okay, we are currently in vacuum. So I'm ditching our SRBs, waiting for them to clear our wings. And we're going to burn out, for now, kind of towards the horizon. Whoa, hang on. This is not the horizon velocity I wanted. Okay. That is very much not the horizontal velocity that we wanted. Okay. I want this horizontal velocity. There we go. So we're going to burn here until we're basically out of fuel. Because we need a bunch of horizontal speed right now. Cool. So yeah, we're going to burn here until we're out of fuel on our big orange tank. We need a whole lot of horizontal speed at this moment. So that's exactly what we're looking for. We need about 1 kilometer per second. We do have over 1 kilometer per second in this tank. As long as we get to a parking orbit, we'll call this good. This is not exactly ideal in terms of the shaking, of course, but it's fine for now. Gimbaling is just a little bit overkill at this moment. And we need a lot of horizontal velocity still. We need about 1 kilometer per second. But this is reasonably fine as far as our inclination goes. Not too bad at all. And if we push this out, I'm wondering how we do on our interception here. Okay. Noted. So we're a ways behind on the interception. So at this point, we would need to burn, like, radially? Ish. But more specifically, what I want to do is I want to just do maybe some get closer burns here. We're a bit far behind. If we did a maneuver here to burn anti-radially. Something like this. But I mean, ultimately, I think our best bet would be to circularize here. Or not really circularize, but to just increase our velocity a bit to about here or so. Or at least to an orbit. Which we actually don't have the fuel in this tank too because our apoapsis is so high. Okay. Noted. Just burning here for now. This is actually the wrong direction. Oh boy. Okay. We wasted a bit of fuel there. Let's bring this around. We've got lots of fuel. I'm actually not too concerned about that. But we're going to bring this around. Okay, this is significantly better. So that's all of this fuel burned out. We're going to ditch this now. And we're going to reconfigure for orbital flight. So up we go. We're technically not in orbit right now, but that's okay. We're going to grab on here, and let's reconfigure. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 struts. Phenomenal. And we will position this hinge. And we'll restrut. 1, 2, 3, 4. The other struts are irrelevant. We don't really care too much about them. This one doesn't want to attach. We'll just do it like that. Okay, we're reconfigured for flight. What did I just do? Did I just deploy these chutes? No, I activated... I'm not sure what I activated there. I was under the impression that we were having this guy selected, and I was going to let go and bring him back in. We should probably check to see what we activated there, but I kind of don't think it was anything. Okay, so I'm going to raise up our apoapsis here to be in some form of orbit. This'll do. And then we'll look for an intercept from there. So we'll head on over to the node. We don't need RCS on. Okay. And rotate so that we're clear of our tank. That would be important. There we go. And we'll start our burn in about 3 minutes. Beautiful. So let's get into an orbit. We'll do the actual intercept next episode. Our ascending-descending node is close enough, so that's fine. We're going to get some amount of catch-up with the station here because we have a lower orbit, and we could definitely do a corrective burn here, but it's a little awkward. I think we'll wait and get a different intercept. So this is fine. This is not a big deal. 20 seconds, 10 seconds, and 3, 2, 1, 0 mark. Phenomenal. Okay, this puts us in a reasonable orbit. That'll do. And from here, what we'd really like to see is this encounter, or alternatively, raising the periapsis, which would probably actually be better. So bringing this up, what kind of timing would that require? Probably awkward timing. It'll be easier to use this button. Yeah, that's somewhat awkward, but we could definitely make that happen, I feel like. Yeah, we can definitely find an intercept here. It would be easier from a... It would definitely be easier from a circularized orbit, but we could definitely find one. So let's just take a quick look here. Interesting, it's going backwards. Very interesting indeed. I was not expecting it to go this direction, but I guess that's fine. We can just toss in a little bit of radial. And we can get there like this. It's a little bit of extra delta V, but it's not the end of the world. Relative speed of 161. Yeah, this looks good. Okay, that's a decent encounter. We'll take that. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to go get all of this installed. Hopefully all next episode, because we've got some movement to do as well, which is going to be interesting. I think we do that first. And I think I know how we're going to do it too, but we'll get there here in a bit. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.